Let us debate, Finsa. Bring the report and let us debate, Finsa. Madam Speaker, as expertly outlined by the opposition spokesperson for finance last Thursday, the government was not forced into this tax package. It was not forced into continuing to extract funds from the National Housing Trust. There are other options and a better way forward is possible. Our finance spokesperson has drilled down and shown in detail that by focusing on the needs of the post-military economy rather than unimaginative bookkeeping solutions, the government could have avoided imposing $29.4 billion in new revenue measures, $18.1 billion of new taxes, and $11.4 billion of NHT extraction on the Jamaican people for the coming fiscal year. As he has shown, there is a better way. The impact on the debt to GDP ratio of financing the gap without resorting to additional taxation, minimal, a mere 0.44% of GDP. Our approach would leave more money in the pockets of the Jamaican people and more reserves in the National Housing Trust to help reverse the negative GDP growth that Jamaica is now suffering and drive recovery at a faster rate. We have a better plan. A better plan. And Madam Speaker, looking at the tax measures, they are problematic. 10.1 billion Jamaican dollars of tax package is on sweetened beverages and will mainly come out of the pockets of low-income households. Similarly, 3.6 billion Jamaican dollars is increasing as an increase in the Environmental Protection Levy, the EPL, which will be borne by consumers again when manufacturers and importers pass on those costs to consumers. Jamaicans are already facing hard times with a cost of living crisis after the Melissa disaster. It's going to be made even worse by this tax package that the government is imposing on the people. And it's coming at a time when the Middle East war is going to start giving us a severe beating as well. These revenue measures will have an inflationary impact, pushing up the cost of living on the Jamaican people at a time when the cost of living is spiking due to the war in the Middle East. As I've said, bitter medicine is on its way. As our finance spokesman pointed out, despite the way that these measures have been sold to the public, neither of the taxes on sweetened beverages or the Environmental Protection Levy, neither of them is designed in a way which will improve public health or support environmental causes, neither of them. The tax on sweetened drinks is imposed on the volume of liquid in the container, not on the amount of sugar in the liquid in the container. And therefore, it provides no incentive for beverage manufacturers to reduce sugar content. Furthermore, the mere fact that the government intends to collect this tax, which is how it's funding its budget, shows that it intends for the beverages to be purchased anyway, so to generate the tax. And they're not seeking to reduce consumption. I wanted to show you. Give me a bottle. This bottle of water contains 500 milliliters, which is half a liter. And it costs $100 on the street or in a corner shop. 2 of these bottles of water make 1 liter and cost $200. A liter of gas at the pump is $185. Water costs more than gas in Jamaica. $200 for 2 bottles, making 1 liter, $185 per liter at the pump. Water costs more than gas in Jamaica. If we really want to encourage healthy consumption, then remove the GCT from water. and other healthy alternatives so that the people can afford to buy them. The Environmental Protection Levy, the EPL, has nothing to do with environmental protection. Despite its name, the money goes straight into the consolidated fund as general revenue. It's not earmarked for any environmental cause whatsoever. It's just like any other tax, and it's used to fund expenditures generally, not to fund environmental expenditures in particular. Furthermore, the announced change to the EPL will favor importers and make local manufacturers less competitive, and that is a very bad thing. We need to encourage local manufacturing and value added here, not importing value added from abroad. We need to drive growth and create wealth in the country. As it stands now, the EPL is applied to 100% of the CIF value of imports, but is applied to 75% of the sale price of locally manufactured goods. This differential, 100% on the imports, CIF value, 75% on the sale price of locally manufactured goods, that differential recognizes different positions that are occupied by importers and manufacturers in the local supply chain. Importers add their profit margin to the CIF value, and there then may be additional margins added by distributors and possibly retailers. Applying the EPL to 75% of the local manufacturer good price seeks to level the playing field, as the manufacturer sale price includes all of the value added of their input costs and their project margin. The government is now moving to apply the EPL, the Environmental Protection Levy, to 100% of the sale price of locally manufactured goods, from 75 to 100%. Also, it is increasing the rate of the EPL from 0.5% to 0.8%. That's a 60% increase in the rate. This means that the cost burden of the EPL to local manufacturers will be greater than it is to importers, favoring imports over local manufacturing of competing products, of exchangeable products. This is a major design flaw in the new tax, and it needs to be corrected. And I'm calling the Minister of Finance to correct it. Madam Speaker, in the Minister's Revenue Measures Ministry Paper number 17, the Minister of Finance said that the government is putting GCT on digital services and intangibles purchased from overseas providers by consumers in Jamaica. It says that this is projected to raise 300 million Jamaican dollars in the last quarter of the coming fiscal year. That's between January and March 2027. And $4.2 billion in the following fiscal year, 27-28. But in her budget speech last Tuesday, the minister spread confusion and muddied the waters by seeking to justify this new tax as protecting local retailers. How can imposing GCT on digital services help local retailers? It is policy incoherence. And in 2024, their government already provided an incentive for imported goods that are purchased online. They doubled the customs duty threshold from $50 US to $100 US. So they're moving in two competing directions. But the truth of the matter is that if it's a digital services tax on intangibles, it really has no impact on retailers. Madam Speaker, I want to say a little bit about the draining of the National Housing Trust. This year, we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the National Housing Trust. It was and is a transformational institutional innovation of the late great Prime Minister Michael Joshua Mann. Sadly, the budget for the coming fiscal